since, okay. You know how many times I've printed this motor spacer at this point?
You know how many times I've printed benchies?
What's that? Yeah. Well, how are your benchies going?
Could be better.
Okay.
I tried a jerk all the way down to 500, and while it definitely helped in some places, there's still places with defects. So I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
I'm just gonna try printing a little slower and see why. And for some reason, so when I made this model, I messed it up somehow, and there's like a little spot underneath it. So I'm like, okay, I'll just add support material. For some reason, it wants to try to use the second tool for support material.
Oh, okay.
Got to be a setting in here somewhere.
There is, I'm sure, somewhere.
Don't want to use another extruder.
Excuse me. I am printing my carriage space twist lock spacer that I did not have. Did you see the little video I put up in Machine Electronics?
No, I haven't looked at anything in the last couple hours. Oh, you got your carriage put together? Cool.
Yeah.
Although, I think you're going to need to take it back apart again. Because I don't think you can put that on the rail all assembled.
Oh, no, I do. I have to put the switches. I still have to put the switches in. I just wanted to test to get it locked up to test it. It's definitely not complete. But I was just trying to see if I actually if the concept, it was a proof of concept more than anything else.
What the heck?
Which seems to work. So.
Oh, yeah. Aha! There we go.
I mean, we get a lock, and when we lock, or when it locks, you get continuity, and yeah, when it locks up, you get continuity, and if it even when it starts to even unlock, even a little bit, it drops, disconnects.
But yeah, I started printing benchies where I cut off everything but the wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Just so I could kind of get an idea of the problem areas without having to print all the stuff I don't really care about. It's kind of funny, because of that little space that's messed up, it created a glob.
Yeah.
And it actually must have hit the nozzle hard enough that it slid the magnetic bed plate.
Wow.
Yeah, because I had a layer shift, but I didn't have a layer shift because of missed steps. I had a layer shift because the plate shifted.
Well, that's interesting.
I knew it was a possibility, but it was kind of interesting to see it actually happen, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, so I was hoping I could get out to the bench tonight, but I was stuck between working and then not working. And then it's like, oh, look, it's 8 o'clock.
It's so weird, though. One side of of the tower is fine, and the other side of the tower has defects on it.
Got it.
Or
Are you
cabin.
streaming?
I am streaming, yes.
Okay.
But I
I'll
have
just
not
have
put
to
a link
scroll
in, I
down.
don't think. One sec, I'll post the link. I kind of got distracted.
So I was able to put together, I think I put together a successful thrust bearing. But we'll see. What is it, buddy? You just want what's up on the counter, don't you? Meow. I put down a bowl of food for him and made myself some toast. And he was so much more interested in the toast that I had. He didn't eat his food. Mischief, come here, buddy. Yeah, I need to get those other two switches put together. For the center carriage. And my solder station is not at my desk.
Gotcha. Yes, I need to assemble a board for this tool. Okay. That's where I stopped last night. Which means I need... What's that?
We might get some people to come by tonight.
It seems to be getting a little bit more popular for people to swing by.
Yeah, it's just one of those, it's like, just pop in for a little bit, it's nothing else.
Yeah, I don't know, well, it's kind of turned into what I was trying to hope it would turn into, and it's just kind of a hangout for non-specific topics, and I just stream my printer printing for anybody who feels like looking at it, I guess.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I don't have to keep printing. It's like I tried to do a lock on the parts before I had to make more. And you're locking the design, but it's like I know Josh has been working on getting everything caught up, which is great because the changes that we're determining. But I'd like to be able to actually finish something.
You'd like to watch what?
Oh, I keep finding one more step that I need to do. I know I'm in a Jubilee 2 something, but it's a 2 something, right? I don't even know which ones I've got because it's like my motor plates. Well, I printed the motor plates, my Z motor plates a while back, right?
Yeah.
I printed in PLA. But I don't even know exactly which, whether they've changed or not.
Josh definitely has a point where you gotta let the bed heat up for a while before you start printing.
And I'm also trying to figure out, it's like,
Okay.
you know what? I think I know how to fix it. Or maybe I can fix it.
For some reason, it really messed up the support material, but the real print is going fine. I don't know why the print material would have different settings for the support material.
Wiki.
Really wasn't expecting such a battle to dial in print quality on the Jubilee.
Well, it probably shouldn't have been that big of a battle.
No, I'm doing something wrong. Maybe my machine's not as tight as I thought it was, I don't know. I don't know, I think one of the big issues I'm having is the fact that I don't know, does anybody use Chimeras yet?
What's that?
I said, is there anybody using Chimeras right now on the Jubilee?
I think so. Although my Chrome has just crashed.
Alexa, show the crib.
Okay.
This has got to be a wiki thing, unless I get.
What's the wiki thing?
A chart as to gives you which revision has, the parts list, a list of all the printed parts, or a list of all the parts for a given revision.
Yeah, it would be nice if there was a BOM for each revision and a printed part for each revision.
Because that way you could just, I mean, that was part of the goal of the parts numbering process was being able to say, and, you know, just here's the list, right?
I think I hear my wife walking around. She went to bed
Without
early.
having to go through the change log. Anyway, and of course, I will be right back.
Mm-hmm.
And here I was just jabbering away.
Hello.
Hey,
Sorry, I had to go take care of something.
okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm trying to go through and identify what parts I actually have at the moment because I've built some assemblies and things like that, but um, and I'm working in a fork. Um, so it's kind of hard to figure out what I'm doing. And my organization isn't great because I'm still trying to figure stuff out. And if I need to print some additional parts to move on to the next step in the assembly, I'll print some additional parts to move to the next step in the assembly.
So what you're saying is you'll print some additional parts to move to the next assembly?
But I'm just trying to figure out which ones I need. And the changelog is, it's a changelog. But it's not. It's a hard to read document. And maybe it's just because I'm having a hard time reading it. All right. And I think part of it is the font that it's being used in, but it could be also the size, and I can't see. Oh, that's like, do I need to change my backplate or my
Yeah, I think with these like monthly iterations, he needs to make sure he starts having. You know what? Check.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm working on right now and trying to do. I'm going to try to put something together.
Well, there is branches though. I think if you check out the branches, maybe it would.
Well, you pick out a release, right? So if I pick a release and go with a release, what I'm afraid of though is if I do that, well, no, it shouldn't have any. It shouldn't make a difference if I go to like a release, like the 201 release.
Well, if you go to the 201 release and try to build off of that manual, it might have some issues if you don't have the same exact parts.
Well, the thing is, I'd be able to compare and see what I've got, right? Actually, you know what? I'm currently working out of the master, but because the 202 isn't a release yet. At least I don't think it is.
I thought it was an official release.
Huh?
I thought 202 was an official release.
Man, maybe it is. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just trying to see if because I'm going through the instructions right now, and the instructions they were edited yesterday. So let me do this. It does not look as if there's a 202 release.
Maybe it's just because 202 is the master, so it doesn't need its own separate release at the moment.
Maybe, maybe not.
I'm not sure how that all works exactly.
Yeah, I'm checking the wiki here. Specifying your build option. And I'm not trying to complain just to complain. I'm just trying to figure out
I get it.
Where I am, because I want to be able to, you know, I've actually been making small progresses as I go. But it's one of these. It's like, okay, so I wanted to have, if I'm going to have the switch built into the front carriage plate, I wanted to get that done before I assembled it. But what I'm also afraid of at this point is okay. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to have to move things around on the screen so I can actually see what I'm doing.
That sounds daring.
I have a few windows open right now. And when I say I have a few windows open right now, I think I've got two more.
Like Josh with his tabs yesterday? Or whatever day that was?
I'm not even talking about my tabs. I actually have separate windows. Hey, Malware Bytes is on sale right now. So I have a Chrome window that has all of my octopies connected to it. So it's a whole window that just has octopies on it. So that one can get closed. That can close. I think I've got like 7 copies of Jubilee open right now. I'm going through and closing them all. Okay, that's our linear advanced discussion that we've had. Okay, that can close. Yeah, some folks were pointing out that I can find these thrust bearings, or we can, I could use a block or use the fixed block from a missing a fixed block from a ball screw. And it's like, I don't really need a fixed block off a ball screw. But yes, it could be done. However, there are some things about that, the way that block is designed. It's designed to be preloaded, which means that your it's designed to be preloaded so that you've got a nut that screws onto the ball screw and puts those bearings under a load.
There we go.
Now you're soldering. Yep.
One done board. I also cut the other 4 down to size, so when I get around to it, I'll have that done.
Okay.
Although
So,
I still need to drill them.
Yeah.
What's
Okay.
that?
Oh, I made these cages. You know, the thrust bearing cage. So
Kind of half wish I would have bought one BMG extruder.
yeah.
Yeah, I was be curious to see what the performance difference as far as how fast the printer can move is between the two. If I have some sort of mechanical issue that's preventing me from moving as fast as Josh does, or if it's just the extra weight of the Hemera that's making it not work as well.
That could be it, because I mean, Hemera is definitely heavier.
Yeah, so I slowed the outer perimeters down to 60 on this one from 80, and I'm doing the inner at, I think, 100 versus 120. So, see. And then I put the accelerations back to normal for the time being, just to kind of, I don't know, I like to try to change only so many things at a time.
Oh no, that makes sense.
Test out different scenarios. I also upped my extrusion multiplier back a little bit because I felt I dialed it too far.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had you know, it's like basically where layers start and stop. Sometimes it would be fine, and sometimes there would be holes. And I'm not 100% sure why, so I thought I would tick up the multiplier just a little bit and see what kind of quality came out.
Okay.
I think I was ever so slightly under extruding anyway, but I was kind of somewhat doing it on purpose. Oh my gosh. When did I... Oh.
What just happened?
I thought I had a whole board made up for the dumb boards, and I kind of do, but I kind of don't, because I need to redo some of this board in order to get it to work. It was like my first prototype board. I put all the connectors on there the way they're supposed to be. Except that was before I decided to change out the one connector. So.
Okay.
But yeah, this is one of those examples where it would have been great to have like a little mill. I could have, you know, made like a little cut path and just took care of all these dumb boards and drilled the holes right where I wanted them. You know.
Yeah.
It would have been nice. I don't know how hard that really is in practice, but I'm sure it's not as hard as trying to drill all the holes by hand.
Good point.
Because I can never seem to drill them exactly where I want them. I start the hole exactly where I want it, but somehow it always seems to drift off a little. Part of me almost wishes I wouldn't have bought the Gates pulleys as they are, instead adapted the design like H2B to use 9mm pulleys instead.
Right.
They're really...
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, as many parts as between the two of us, I think we probably have a lot. We have enough parts to build 2 more Jubilees.
I don't have that many parts, but yeah. Definitely have some extra rails.
I do too. That's okay.
I have an idea of what I'm going to do with those other rails, though. Different project. Although I might not stick with that project, but... So I had a upgrade for the big box, which is originally what I was started off as going to be like the updated printer. Then I just kind of jumped on board eventually with the Jubilee, but I bought all the extruded aluminum for the frame already. So yeah. I have a 30-30 frame sitting in a closet, not doing anything.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And I'm thinking with those extra rails, maybe I'll just manually cut them down and use them for the XY of the big box instead.
Okay.
It'll be a hell of an improvement over what I have.
True.
However, that will require some design effort that I don't have the time to do at the moment, so it's just going to go on the wish list. I think I'm going to change the way I'm routing the cables on the Hemera.
Okay.
Because I noticed that there seems to be enough room to actually sneak them up between the fan. I can't do that on the other Hemera because I cut the cables too short. But if I sneak the cables through here, then I can put the fan duct and...
You're trying to show me pictures, and I looked away.
Well,
So
I haven't brought it up to the camera yet.
Oh, okay. That's what I was hearing. So I was like,
Yeah.
did I miss something?
No. Here, are you looking at the camera now?
I am looking at the camera now.
All right. So you see how it can kind of slide underneath between the cooler and the
Okay.
Hemera.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I can print a bracket on the top part, and that'll restrain those wires really nicely. Because
Okay. Does that and that doesn't interfere with airflow from the cooling fan?
I don't think so. I'll look at it again, but
Okay. I just
still not perfect. All right, dial back the accelerations and jerks, I guess, and see how another one looks.
okay.
Eventually, I think the acceleration and jerks should be part of the tool change script.
Yeah.
Because if you're using, something really heavy, you don't necessarily want to have to slow down your lighter stuff too. So, so I'm gonna try accelerations of 900. And how about a jerks of 700? Combine that with a slower speed I'm printing. Maybe I'll be able to actually get something going here. Okay. I forgot again. Haha, got it.
Oh yeah.
Forgot to take the brim off. Or the perimeter or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
So how do I wire one of these things up?
I'm not sure how do you wire what?
How do I wire a Hemera up again? I'm looking at my other tool right now. I was just kind of talking out loud.
Okay.
Or thinking out loud, I should say. Alright. That fan duct go. So one thing that kind of gets me about all this, though, is I printed at that fast speed with no print defects on a fan duct. I mean, I don't know what it is about the Benchy.
Well, the Benchy is a torture test.
Yeah, I mean, but I still have sharp corners on the fan duct, but I guess not. I'm not exactly sure why it's different, I guess is what I'm getting at. Like the particular corner that's getting messed up the most It's
Yeah.
just a standard 90-degree corner. I mean, there's nothing even crazy going on there.
Really?
Unless it's more than 90 and I'm not seeing it. But there's some, where did the fan duct go that I just had in my hand? Aha, I put the Hemera on it. But, I mean, there's plenty of sharp corners on here, and I don't know, maybe one spot where it looks like it could be kind of messed up, but not really. I mean, if you want to be a stickler about it, I guess it's got a tiny bit of wobble that you can see, but I mean, it's very, very minimal. And only because I'm looking for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. So what did I do? Why am I off?
But to answer your question about airflow, the cords going through that way don't even get anywhere near the airflow. So.
Okay.
Oops. Yeah, my last order to fill a extruder, I ordered some spare parts for Hemera in case I ever do something stupid like break the heat break.
Yeah.
I ordered one heat break. I think I ordered one more cooling fan for it. Just a couple of the cheaper and more likely parts to have an issue.
Yeah, that's how that works sometimes.
If I ever break like the actual metal extruder part, I mean, those aren't terribly expensive to replace, but I can always just, I'll have other Hemeras anyway.
Okay.
So it won't be the end of the world if I have to wait for one to ship, but I wonder if that zip tie is too close to the heater block. Maybe I'll move it down there.
Yeah, Josh's model has got a 22 millimeter motor shaft instead of a 25.
22 millimeter motor shaft.
The shaft on the motor for the Z steppers he's got it at 22 millimeters. So.
Well, Struder's pretty cool about things. I wonder if I send the 6 millimeter Gates pulleys back and order 9mm if they would just swap them out.
It's like, hey, I meant to order I ordered the wrong size, or I meant to order the bigger ones because you kind of did.
Might be worth that. I don't know.
I mean, they're not cheap.
I don't think the 9mm are any more expensive, are they? Or at least not much. I'll look.
I got noticed that my Philistruder ordered shipped today.
You ordered a Philistruder?
No. The order from Philistruder.
Oh.
Today.
You said Philistruder order, so. Anyway.
Kind of what I said, but yeah.
Maybe I'm crazy. I could have swore. Okay, they have the idlers, but they don't have the pulleys.
Okay.
Yeah, the 9mm idlers are the exact same price as the 6mm idlers.
Okay.
The belts are 50% more expensive though.
Yeah, they're 50% wider.
Yeah, so you'd have to. I think the belt for Jubilee was $50, so that would mean it would be about $75 to replace the belts.
Yeah.
And then we would also need to probably buy 25mm shoulder bolts, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it says.
I know there are 20 right now, and if we might be able
Josh
to.
was saying something about having to change also for the metal motor plates.
What do you mean? I just bought new shoulder bolts for. You better not change them again. Like I don't even have them here yet. They're on their way.
Well,
He literally just changed them. Like, that's why I placed the order on Friday, I think it was.
yeah.
I will be a little annoyed with him if he's changing it again.
There is something to be said about that, right?
I don't mind him changing things, but changing the same thing more than once in such quick succession, that would be a little frustrating.
It would be. There we go. I think this face. I don't know I don't see a spec sheet for this coupling, but it's typically what I'm used to seeing. All right. Is that cage too tall? Probably not. It's not. I don't know. That's I don't know.
So this entire tool that I printed, aside from the lock plate, everything, all the printed parts will be off of the Jubilee.
Oh, nice. So I guess the question I have is I need to find out. I guess I just need to go through and take the current master list and see what the master branch says as far as what the part numbers are for everything in that. So, I mean, I was gonna post a picture real quick.
No, I'm gonna post a picture.
Fine, go ahead, post a picture.
One. Oh, come on. Why does it need to be that tall?
Well, that's kind of that's part of what I was working on.
Oh. Seems like the whole thing should be able to go down a bit. Especially if you put a spacer under the Z.
Okay, so you can't, to make the coupler drop any lower, I have to thicken up the base plate again. So that's with a 4mm spacer underneath it.
That
Underneath the coupler, or underneath the motor, or above, between the motor and the base plate. If I want to drop the coupler lower than that, which we could do,
I mean, if you're gonna do it, you should try to strive to make sure there's no interference with the current design, like build volume, if possible. You know. That's all I was thinking.
yeah. So the big difference here is this whatever's above the coupler. Because right now I dropped the coupler, the top of the coupler is in the same place as it is in the drawing. Because I added, well, it's actually 1mm lower. However, I also don't know how far Josh planned on putting the motor shaft into the coupler, because you only get 8mm of depth on this coupler. I mean, I can, let me try something real quick. Because I've effectively got a stack of shims here. I'm gonna drop the motor another, now if I drop the motor more, right? If I shim the motor down, that's gonna drop, it's gonna drop the build plate. So I don't know how much clearance do you have? If the carriage wasn't there, how far up can the bed plate go?
It's not a lot more. Probably at most 5mm.
So I don't really have that much. I don't have that much space to lift the motor or to drop the motor.
What are you talking about? You drop the motor.
That means the Z screw is shorter, doesn't go as high. So the motors that I have, the E3D motors, right? So the E3D motors that I have have a 25mm shaft coming off the stepper driver. Which means, and the coupler, you can only put 8mm of motor shaft into the coupler. So Josh is, I've got to pull Josh's drawing real quick. I've got to reopen it. Because of course I just closed it.
Here I accidentally cut these heater wires too short.
Oh no.
Not catastrophically short, but shorter than I meant to. I
Yeah.
wanted to have a little slack, but not too much slack. And I think I just gave myself 0 slack somehow. I'm not sure how I did that. Oh, come on. Yeah, the whole discussion about crimps, I really, really like my crimps, but
Yeah.
I went to check them on Amazon, and you can't buy them anymore.
Oh really?
Yeah, at least not till the pandemic's over. Apparently, they made it illegal to buy rakes in Michigan now. That's what my sister told me.
Illegal to buy what?
Rakes.
Rake?
Yeah, like to rake the leaves.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's non-essential.
Well, it's amazing how many printer parts are essential.
Well, I don't think you can go to like Meijer or Walmart or whatever and buy non-essential goods at the moment, apparently.
Oh, that's probably okay.
Like it's literally illegal for them to sell non-essential items, apparently.
Oh well, yeah, because you don't want people out shopping. You want people to stay home.
Right.
Okay, so I just added 8 millimeters, and I dropped the motors by 8 millimeters, which being is that the motor is already, so it's a 5 millimeter drop overall. So the motor shafts that Josh has got in his drawing are 22 millimeters long. The E3D motors are 25 millimeters long. And the couplers, you can't really bury any more than about 8 millimeters of shaft length into the coupler. So that didn't open. Maybe it'll open. Maybe it won't open. Trying to open the motor, or trying to open the drawing. So what that does is that changes the dimensions here a little bit. You're going to see it. So the cage is going to be much large, too tall at this point.
Well, why is there so much space between the coupler and the top of the cage, or the bottom of the cage, I guess?
That's the motor shaft. So here is.
No, I meant echoing back to me. I meant from the screw side to the underside of the thrust bearing holder thingamabob. It looks like
Well,
you
it's
have.
longer now because they just dropped the motor. So
Well, I meant in the picture that you posted earlier, it looks like there's a good, like, 5 millimeters or more there.
there was a little bit, but there's the bushing comes out a little bit past the bottom of the top. Remember, I don't actually have the other parts that go in here. Okay. So what I just sent is what it looks like after dropping the motor 8 millimeters. It's got an 8 millimeter spacer plate underneath the Z bracket or the Z motor plate. Yeah, I really want to do this thing. We wait for things to open.
Yep, I definitely cut it at least about 4 millimeters shorter than I would have preferred.
Got it.
It's annoying. It works. It's just right at the edge of, too short.
You don't get to make any more mistakes with it, is what I'm hearing.
Exactly. Oh well. I guess I can always make it ugly and patch some more wire into it or something.
Yeah. Okay, so here's some other stuff that's happening here. He's got the. Oh, where is? So the current Z standoff, right, is 11 millimeters tall. 1.9 is what I got, but yeah, 1.9. So that means that 1.1, point 2, top of the motor to the bottom of the blade, 1.1.
All I know is I'm glad I bought all my Jubilee stuff before this happened.
Yeah. I mean, I can if I drop the motor a little bit longer, you know, if I put the motor a little farther underneath the plate, and again, of course, now he's got a Z motor plate that's different than the one that I've got, but I don't know how it's different. I'm trying to figure that out through the changelog. Also, it looks like I need to reprint the Z lift parts. Yeah.
Man, Luke put these connectors in the bags that are just barely big enough to hold them, so it makes them super fun to try to wiggle out.
Well, yeah, but he's got to save his dime bags for the right product.
It's nice to have something I can look at to cheat.
What's that?
It's nice having something I can look at to cheat. I look at the other tools, I'm like, oh,
Oh, the one you already made, yeah.
yeah. Makes it convenient for sure. Tell you what, I'm gaining a lot of proficiency at putting these connectors together.
Yeah? I think I inadvertently deleted this part.
That's not good.
Maybe. That might be up. It might be in the GitHub repository if I can revert. Great.
Well, I'm not gonna call it super fantastic, but it's not bad.
Okay.
I wanna do one more with turning pressure advance back on, and then see how things go with a full-on benchy. Drop these values into the firmware for now. Hey, what? I'm not super big fan of how the cooling fan attaches to the Hemera.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like you have to very carefully, like you can't put any tightness on the screws at all. It'll warp that fan. I'm sure you can somewhat relate to that a bit. You've used Hemera on at least one machine so far, right?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Whew. see if I can. I think I found that I had managed to commit the changes. Yes, great. Download.
Brian, does that pulley, or what is it, that coupling or designing, that basically what, like, compensates for bending in your lead screws, or what is
No, what it's doing is it's taking it's providing a thrust block for the lead screw, because right now the lead screw is hard coupling to the stepper motor. So you've got this flexible coupling in there, right?
Yeah.
But if you put any weight on the coupling drives down into a hard block and no longer provides any flex. So,
Vibrations translated more or something?
vibrations are translated, and if there's any misalignment between the lead screw and the motor shaft, there's nothing there to correct.
Cool. How much do those couplings cost?
Well, the couplings you already have. That's the plumb coupling.
Oh, you're just building an extra support over the top of it to give it.
So yeah, so what goes over the top of it, and it's over in the okay, good. Whew. I had inadvertently deleted a part. But I have it back now, so we are good. Maybe.
So this is just like an add-on part that fits the existing geometry?
It is. Give me a sec, right? That way I can actually speak to it. I need to move some windows around so I can actually see what I'm doing. Because right now I can't. I got too many things going on.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to just jump in like that. Continue what you're doing.
So what we've done here is if you jump up to the machine hardware thread earlier this evening, 5:30ish or so, I had some other pictures posted. So there's a picture posted that shows that what is going to happen is there's a coupling, there's a collar that gets locked onto the lead screw. Okay. And then this collar holds the lead screw, and then the next part is an F814M thrust bearing assembly. So it's a thrust bearing assembly it's designed to take loads along the length of the rod. So the downward force of the motor plate, and there's not a lot of mass there really isn't. But so this may be complete overkill. But what I was trying to do is isolate the Z shaft, the Z motor, from the vertical lift mechanism as much as possible.
Okay.
This is the kind of thing you see in ball screws. All right, so a ball screw is going to have something that's like this, but a ball screw is also machined. The shaft on a ball screw is machined with surfaces to take thrust and threaded parts to lock it into a preloaded fixed bearing assembly. Right, whereas a lead screw just does.
Are you talking about that picture in machine hardware still?
So in machine hardware, yeah, the one I was talking about there. So you see the shaft coming in from the left. About 5:37 p.m. Not the photograph, it's the drawing. So if you pop open that drawing,
Yeah.
Okay. So coming in from the left is the lead screw.
Mm-hmm.
The collar that's locked onto the Z screw, or the lead screw.
Yeah.
And then there's that thrust bearing assembly, which has got ball bearings and then races. The races are on the top and bottom instead of on the sides, so it's not taking radial loads. And then that in the top of the plastic piece, there's an oiled bushing that the rod goes through. And then underneath inside the cage is where the coupling is. So we're not preloading this thrust bearing. I mean, we could by putting another collar on the other side, but we don't really need to do that because really all the forces are in one direction, right?
Okay.
But what we're doing is we're taking the weight of the bed and its mechanism, right? And instead of that weight being carried by the motors and the internal parts of the motor, the weight's being transferred, the forces are being transferred to the frame assembly. And then the coupling just couples the rotation of the motor to the rotation of the lead. And again, it may be overkill. It may not be necessary. In fact, it probably isn't. Yeah, and the other thing, well, it's something that one of the things that we've never really addressed in the rep world, right? This kind of mechanism you will see in this is the kind of mechanism that you'll see in the CNC world, where because the forces that are being applied are much more significant.
Yeah.
But that's not the case here. And so I had one of the things I was having a moment of panic about is that I had not properly saved out the parts that I've been working on. I inadvertently deleted it. But I have recovered. I actually had committed the task or committed the branch before I deleted it. So that's a good thing.
Does SolidWorks not save
electronics? I did a continuity test, a quick continuity test for my my lockup switch. So it doesn't really show you anything except it doesn't show you all the bits and pieces of what's going on there. That little video that I made.
Oh, okay, I see it now. Yep. Okay, this was that backplate you were designing with the.
Yep, with the contactors built in.
Yeah.
I got the little screws for it last night.
Oh, cool.
Yesterday afternoon, and I got it all. I managed to get it put together. So. Well, it.
I haven't watched it yet, so you have to give me.
Oh, okay. So.
Sorry.
Sounds like you're watching.
Yep.
So. Yeah. So what happens is when you have a lockup, when the carriage locks to a tool, and you put a lockup on it, the switch closes, but it only closes when all three balls are in the Maxwell fitting.
It's triple redundant.
Well, it's not triple redundant. It's more, exactly. All three have to be in contact, and they have to have be in enough contact to actually to get your tool lock. And so you saw how we broke contact, how the continuity failed almost immediately as soon as I started rotating it, because that's a tool falling away from
yeah, I got you.
the lock.
That's cool.
So this is we don't have a port for it yet on the Duet, but it's just a matter of figuring out which one.
Are you running a Duet 2 or 3?
I've got a Duet 3.
The HC, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I've got a Duet 3, and I was doing tool groups.
So
but
you got the map on one of the ports. Do you have enough extras?
I think there are.
There's tons of extra I/O.
Lots of.
There is at least 5 that I'm looking at, or yeah, 5 right now that I'm looking at on the main board alone.
Yeah, so we just, I mean, I figure I just need one to tie it into the carriage.
Sure.
And so the idea here is, and I don't know if the Duet can do this, but what we were looking at is like not exactly an interrupt, but a monitoring a part that's being monitored, port that's being monitored, such in the event we have a conditional set, the tool of engage, right? And I'm sure there's some kind of setting or something.
There's something that would break whatever GCode it was in the middle of.
Yeah, it'll do, like, essentially it triggers a stop.
I still think it should be a pause and not an e-stop.
Okay, well, pause.
An e-stop, you're going to lose your print. You might still be able to recover from this.
Yeah, you might.
In fact, you probably could recover from it if
Depends on why it disengaged, right?
well, I suppose that's true, but
One thing to do is to not drag it cool.
Well, you could program it either way you want it. I would assume, right?
I think it should be a pause so that the user can decide whether or not they want to terminate the print.
Yeah.
Especially if it was like it didn't completely drop the tool, you wouldn't want to lose the print just because you had to bump it into place. I mean, I don't know, I don't have any experience yet. Has that happened?
Yeah, I mean, a pause could do it. I just don't want to pause on a part, right?
You have a pause script. You can move it off the print.
Yeah. And the reason for that is, because that would come undone. If that comes undone, that tells us that we've got we're looking at a tool that's not locked up the way we expect it to be locked up, right?
You should time lapse your what's it called when you test it. When you do like how many cycles are you going to cycle it for testing?
Oh, this connection?
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea.
He's got to build his Jubilee first.
Yeah, I keep running into, all right, I'm ready to build this thing, and then it's like, oh, I've got to do one more part, and then I got to do one more part, and then I got to do one more part. Because I have like 4 sets of parts for Jubilee, except they keep changing.
You need to build faster.
Yeah, I'm like all over that, right?
I'm putting my corner plate assemblies with a double Philly corner plates together.
Well, I've got the double I've got a lot of the sub-assemblies done. So the outer frame and assembly and alignment's done. The default motor plate assemblies are done. The double corner plate is done. The crossbar is done. The tool changer lock assembly is done. But I don't have my V's set up. And that's what I'm working on here. And I'm working on the carriage at the moment as well. So I'm in the the carriage together, and there are
Almost done with this tool. Woohoo.
okay. So I've got 2 shims.
Okay. Where?
So the spacer goes on.
Spacers.
So the spacer goes in, then the E-clip goes on. And here, watch me now. I'm going to shoot the E-clip across the room. Because that's how that works. And Josh tends to indicate that, oh yeah, you just take the pin out. I don't know how I did it, but I took the set screw completely off, and the cross pin is not coming off. So I don't know if we got tack welded in there or what, or if it was pressed in. The dowel pin that goes for the crossbar.
The which pin?
The dowel pin that goes at the end.
Okay, yeah.
You know, that's there's an indication that that can come out. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. I think this one was drilled and pressed in.
Drill pressed in?
Well, let's put it this way. I think the hole in the center dowel or the center is undersized.
Yeah.
But my crossbar, the cross pin is not coming out. That is not happening. Not without doing some heating and cooling and stuff as that. So there is that. So there's those parts there. I'm laying out. And there's my motor plate. There's my shims and my spring. Yeah, so I've got a lot of the assemblies already put together. It's just, I'm at the stage now where I need to make sure that I have, when I can start putting things together, I've got all the bits that I need. Plus, if I'm going to, before I assemble like the Z's, I want to make sure that if I'm going to do this thrust thing, the thrust bearing thing, I've got all the parts and I've tested it. I've also read through the instructions like 6 times. It's kind of what I do. So your build is pretty much done, or you're making feel like you're making progress on it.
You're talking to me? I
Yeah.
have a long. I've got most of the stuff printed up at this point. I think just about everything. We're spinning my wheels with the
Got it.
to do all these assemblies. I think I have everything.
like a dab of what I need to do is I probably just need to go step out to the other room and my computer is not where my soldering station is, so my soldering station is in the other room, and I'm ready to make the switches up to the carriage, but I won't do that right now. But I gotta go grab something. I will be right back.
So where'd you say you were at with your machine?
Okay. I was just grabbing a soldering iron to see if I could maybe do some stuff. Well,
Welcome back.
so I'm going to try to see if I can put some systems together. Have you ever used a liquid electrical tape?
Nope. Can't say that I have.
It's an interesting product.
Don't know that I've ever heard of liquid electrical tape.
Hey, gentlemen.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, pretty decent. Mostly having the printer back in rough, shall I say, shape.
Yeah, I took a couple-day detour on my big box not too terribly long ago, so I know how you feel.
Well, one thing I've discovered is this bed is, like, horribly warped on one corner.
Really?
Yeah. So,
You should see.
This is not the Jubilee bed.
No, this is my Sapphire.
Got it.
It basically uses the same bed as an Ender 3.
Yeah.
3-point leveling, 220 millimeter bed.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about possibly going a little overboard with it and having a custom Mic 6 plate made, and then throwing an AC heater on it. Why not?
I mean, you're stuck at home doing all that over. Right?
The other option would be to pick up one of the E3D hotbeds.
One of the volcano or Mordor beds.
Yeah, the ones that like, yeah. I helped a friend tonight with some CNC G printing, and it was kind of ridiculous. I won't say what brand it was, but we had to get the bed almost to 100 degrees Celsius before it would stick.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Well, Pet's usually what, or Pet G's what, 80?
Yeah, like 75 or 80.
I think I always do 80. But that's just because I'm lazy and don't really put much thought into it.
But yeah, it was kind of ridiculous.
Well.
So I leveled the bed as best as possible. I would say it's okay. I'm getting a little bit of elephant footing.
There's a slicer setting for that. Have you tried it?
I'm not using the latest version of Cura yet, so...
It's in Prusa Slicer. I don't know about Cura.
Yeah. So I have a custom printer setup that I created in Cura, and I've got to update that to 4.0 before I move it. And it's just one of those things that's been on my, like, back burner of, like, okay, once I get the Jubilee mostly on its way and I can afford to have my printer down, I'll mess with it.
Yeah. So.
Wait, you don't need a Mix 6 bed if you use a Mordor bed.
That's what I was thinking. Is just going with the Mordor instead of going to the effort of having a plate made, etc.
So they have I haven't been on the E3D site in a while, because I'm afraid that if I go there I'll buy some.
Isn't that what we're afraid of every time we go to a 3D printer site?
I don't want to contemplate exactly how much I've spent at Philistruder.
I went to Philistruder tonight to get the new shoulder bolts.
But then you got to get your order up to $100 for free shipping.
Exactly. So by the time I was done, I had $130 in parts.
And you only needed $15 in shoulder bolts, or
exactly, which were $1 cheaper than they were on McMaster-Carr.
And shipping really doesn't cost that much on Philistruder.
Great.
So what'd you buy?
Got 2 nozzle X's. Got
Nice, good choice.
The shoulder bolts that I needed. Got the new the LDO Max motors.
Yeah, I got the ship notice from Illustrator today for the stuff I ordered last night.
You want to know what Josh did to me?
What did Josh do to you this time?
He told me about the shoulder bolts on like Friday or Saturday, so I placed my order. And then today he told me about the LDO motors.
That's the exact same thing that happened to me. You and me are in the exact... I have 2 orders from Philistruder coming this week.
Yep.
And I stopped myself just short of going for all the Gates belts.
Oh, go for it.
No,
well,
when I was done, it was up to $300.
Hey, Brian, you're echoing again.
It's got to be something in Discord. Okay, did that improve?
Like, yeah, it's weird. It kind of comes and goes.
Yeah, well, the Discord app keeps crashing on me, so. All right, so switch number 1. So take a look in the machine electronics there, Steve.
Alright. Yeah, I saw your,
So it locks up, and it only takes maybe 30 degrees of rotation before, that was with no weight on it, but it only takes about 30 degrees of rotation on the lock carriage or the lock
Right.
pulley before it disengaged and opened the switch.
nice.
So at that point, I think we still may have a tool. The tool may not be on the ground at that point, but yeah, it'd be pretty close.
So, the other thing that's going to be fun this week is I'm going to print all the new crossbar pulley reinforcement plates and stuff from the 2.02.
Yeah.
Because even though I'm not putting the gates belts in, because I was having fit issues with the POW GE pulleys,
Yeah.
this will solve all that. So I'm going to print all of those out. Well, that means I have to switch back to a 0.4 nozzle.
What size nozzle? You got a 0.8 nozzle on there now or something?
6 in now.
Okay.
And I tried printing a couple of the reinforcement plates, and the little flexure that's in them.
Yeah, it's too
doesn't
coarse.
print well with 0.6.
Yeah. Too coarse.
But everything else is looking pretty good. I got some interesting feedback from IGUS.
Okay.
So the wedge plate for the twist lock.
Yeah.
I'm having IGUS print it.
Really? Okay.
Basically in there, they've got a super slick material for bearings and stuff. I'm gonna have that printed by them. I was thinking we could probably do something similar for the thrust bearings.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could do a thrust bearing. The amount, you could do a thrust bearing on here with just a Delrin washer, right?
Right.
But I've got and I don't necessarily even need to put in. How many of those? Hopefully there's one or two. Anyway, so those bronze flange, the flanged oiled bronze plates. I mean, we could put those straight down onto the coupler without a thrust bearing, right? We could put the collar on the shaft and just go from that without a thrust bearing, and that would probably work. You'd save 5 millimeters of height.
Hold on a second. Okay, have you ever seen the IGUS CAD site?
So Josh changed the wire size too at some point.
On what part?
On some of the sensor switches. For whatever reason, I'm running pretty much everything at 22 and 16. Yeah, 22 and 16. I'm not sure why. I look up and now it's like, use 26 gauge wire. It's like, 26 gauge wire is a pain to work with. Or maybe it isn't. Maybe it's just I'm old and can't see.
We'll be nice. We won't say anything.
Oh, feel free. I've got basically I was trying to get the two sizes of wire as much as possible. But anyway. So yeah, the thrust bearing cage. Again, like we were saying last night, I may very well be have a solution in search of a problem. Right.
So we actually use something similar on the flex drives.
Yeah.
It's just kind of an arched design to make it easier to print.
Oh yeah, well I haven't optimized it for printing by any stretch of the imagination.
But it's the exact same kind of thing. So basically, in our case, we're using it to prevent the flex drive cable from wanting to flop around against the where it meets the shaft of the motor. So there's just a regular bearing press fit into it.
Yeah. So you're looking at radial, radial correction.
Exactly.
And I'm looking at taking, I'm doing axial loads. So, and it's not necessarily, it's like I said, we may not actually need it at all.
What's the inner diameter? 8 millimeter, right?
Yeah. Let me get you the McMaster part number that I.
What's your outer diameter?
Wait, one?
Well, I'm saying if you were trying to design something custom.
Oh, piecewise?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I think the collar is 14 millimeters in diameter, so it's got to be at least that, because you don't want the thing that the collar rides on to be shorter than the collar, right?
Right.
Or narrower. Wait, one. I mean, I'm going to have some of these parts tomorrow. Okay, so the oil embedded bronze flange sleeve bearing.
Okay.
For 8 millimeter shaft diameter and a 12 millimeter housing. So yeah, okay. but the outer diameter is 16 millimeters. So the outer diameter of the flange is 16.
What's the width of the bearing? The bearing is 10 millimeters deep.
Wait one. I will just see if I can do that. So I'm just gonna cut and paste the master part number in the live stream chat.
Okay.
So that's the part.
Sorry, I couldn't hear anything anybody was saying for a second there. My Discord decided to use my stereo in as my audio cable output device.
Yeah, it does that sometimes. because Discord is our friend.
Did you guys hear me ask the question about the washers?
No.
Oh. I was curious, the corrosion-resistant Belleville disc springs for 5mm shafts
Yeah.
from the Master. Are those the washers that go on the corner assembly?
No. Those are different.
Okay.
Belleville spring is a compression spring kind of device that's used in the coupler.
And the funny part is in 2.02, he doesn't use them now.
Really? Jeez.
So, and they're not cheap little parts.
No, they're pretty precise because they're a spring with a specific force levels that they have to work on.
Does anybody remember if those washers came from Bolt Depot? Is that probably where I would find them?
I think those are those the shims, or which washers are we talking about?
The washers. The shims were from McMaster and Carr, but I think the washers were from Bolt Depot. I gotta go through my 1,000 packets of screws again. What's the best way to organize these? Size?
I've got them in an organizer with labels on each compartment. I do by size and then by head type within a size. So all my flatheads are in one section, sorted by size, by diameter then length, and then all my other ones are by diameter and length, with the head types being separate.
Okay. Let me screen share something with you real quick.
Sure. And like I said, I may be overthinking this, but that's, if I can make it possibly more complicated than it needs to be, then I'm all set.
That's why we pick an easy project like this, right?
That's a $37 part.
No. That's 13 pieces. So it's $2.95 per part.
Oh, okay.
The big thing with them is their quantity discounts. You have to hit whatever the right breakdown is for your part, and it's specific to the part. So
Yeah.
The breakdown is never at the same place. You have to basically spec the part and then show it.
Oh yeah, no, it has to do with it has to do with the molds and whatnot.
No, it isn't molded.
Oh, it's a machine part?
This is SLS out of IGUS.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So
the cool part is this. So they've got their rest of CAD.
Yeah.
So
Where'd you post it?
Flange bearing.
Okay. How thick is the flange? I mean, because I haven't, like I said, I haven't finalized the design on the carriage or the
So
the bearing
essentially,
cage.
we have pretty much full control.
Okay.
So any of these things you can specify.
Got it. Yeah, it's like breaks on the corners. So like B2 would be 2 millimeters. D1 would be 8 millimeters plus something minus 0.
So and they've got it so you can do it without a flange.
Yeah. Because what I'm trying to do is add a little bit of radial constraint. Adding a soft radial constraint and a hard single direction constraint for vertical forces. And it lets you, without something there, you're hard coupling the coupling locks down. It no longer has a flex to it.
You can also do these.
Is that you can make your own gear. You make your own
flanges, yeah. Now they have some limitations,
Yeah.
specifically your thread pitch.
Yeah.
For some reason, they don't support TR8 times 2. They support TR8 times 1.5.
Yeah.
And
Which
that's
is odd.
basically it, which is a weird, yeah.
Because it doesn't support Acme, which is weird, but yeah.
And then you basically specify everything else, and it just gives you a custom flange bearing.
Yeah.
They also do custom gears. Like this is just your, I forget what they call these. They also do bearings, which is what we were just looking at.
Yeah.
They do rollers.
Yeah, I mean, and some folks pointed out that, like, well, why don't we just use the block out of, use the fixed block from use the fixed block from, words. I'm having trouble with words tonight. From a ball shaft. It's not right. Is it ball shaft?
Ball screw.
Ball screw. Ball word thing screw. So yeah, use the fixed block for the ball screw because it's got an 8mm entire diameter. It's like that's great, but that bearing design is designed to be preloaded. There's a reason it's preloaded because even when you're using the tapered rollers, right?
Yeah. So
you do a preload with the thread on the ball screw. So these little bronze flange sleeves are only $235 each. But you're looking at now. Make sure if you're going to get that plate made, you've got the latest one because Josh added some thickness to it.
I did. He actually gave this to me before he kind of announced it, because I told him what I was going to do. Okay.
Because he was talking about getting we already talked to him, or he already
injection molding, yeah.
Yeah, but the price point is still $4 a piece. What's the price point here?
For 5, it's like $4.96. Actually, let's see here. For 11, $3.50.
So figure you're gonna get 8 per person.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing 4 tools, right?
So between the sweet spot is between like 20 and 40 pieces.
Oh, what are you ordering now? Like this is the lock plate?
Yeah. You go from $3, $3.50 a piece to $2.77.
This is the lock plate you're talking about? I kind of.
So they say they can manufacture that?
21 pieces, $58.
Yeah. If those are slick, right? Those are really.
They should be. There's a couple different materials. There's this iGlide i3PL.
Yeah.
Which is made for like gliding surfaces.
Yeah.
And then there's i6PL, but it's made for gears.
Yeah, you want the gliding surfaces, not the gear.
Hey, you can put me down for 8.
So, what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna get 5 made first, just as a test, and send them out to probably you guys and Josh. And I've also got the pieces that I made out of OBS filament.
Okay.
And those are probably not going to be near as good as these are. But it was just kind of a curiosity to see what they turned out like. Also, I was looking at it as possible textures.
Yeah, does it have some flexible stuff?
Yeah. So I'm gonna do a couple things with with them essentially to kind of get an idea for how it is, how it would go.
That works.
And if it looks like it's going to go good, you know, and what's cool is, I don't know if you guys are watching the stream, but they actually have this like producibility checklist that makes sure that you have, you know, you meet their minimum wall thicknesses and the space and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. I think a lot of stuff with shape weights.
So what I originally started this for is this is the if you're looking, this is the worm gear that is in the flex drive that I use.
Oh, okay.
I was looking if it was possible to manufacture the appropriate worm gear for something like that, and it turns out that it fails because of wall thickness problems.
Yeah, because it doesn't come to it. You're trying to bring it to a point.
Yeah. So, and then even here on the edges of the thing, it doesn't meet the minimum requirements.
Do something. That's an STL, right? That you're uploading.
This is a step.
That's a step file. Okay.
Yeah. So, what they're supposed to have, and they talk about it on their site, but I don't see it anywhere, and I sent a request to them about it today, is a custom worm gear set designer where you give it all of your you know, you give it your angles and your pressure angles and all the requirements, and it basically spits out a gear that they can print.
Nice.
So I'm going to see what that would look like, because when I looked at having similar gears actually purchased from like KHK, I was at between like $11 and $15 a set.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
So if I could get something manufactured with this stuff, it would be, you know, down around the like $8 a piece. So, but I just wanted to stop off and say hey, see how you guys were doing, see how your printing adventures were going.
Doing assembly.
What's funny is the parts that I just finished are the parts that I'm now reprinting, and then the part that I was about to assemble has one of the parts for the carriage mechanism. I'm literally reprinting it out tonight as well.
Hey, did you want the file for the carriage with the leads in it?
Sure.
Yeah, I thought I posted it, but you exported it. So I know that it works. I have the screws I got from a place called where is it? CS Enterprises out of Foxworth. Metricscrews.us.
Okay.
So, but I've got some screws here that I miscounted, of course, because, you know, that's the thing that happens, right? So let me send you this file. Now, here's the question. Josh, I based this on the carriage CPO2 or CFP, the front plate 02, and I can't tell what the current one is. I guess let me pop open my flasher real quick. And then the current fabrication exports. So I have way too many windows open. All right, so he's got a CFP03, that's the current build. And the one that I have is based on the CFP02. The question is what's the difference? I don't see a CFP03 in the... Okay, well, this should work then. Let me just add the file to the live stream. Do you want to put it in the live stream chat or in the electronics? It's the mechanical part. Now, let me just drop it in the live stream chat.
I figure live stream chat is for anything that we're talking about during a live stream, so.
Okay.
Or sometimes I talk
All right,
in it.
there's the STL for it. Coupling plate, 3-contact switch with the preloads. So this one, you're screwing through the back and you're driving a screw into the pin after the pin is already seated. So you're not putting a screw in and then driving the pin into the screw. You can, and if a pin comes, if the continuity between the pin and the screw ever loosens up, you can just tighten down the screw a little bit. There is not a lot of plastic for the threading, so you're not going to put a lot of torque on it, but it's more than enough to hold the wiring in and everything. So take a look at it and see if you've got any questions about the print. And the grooves, by the way, are perfect for holding 22 gauge stranded silicone wire, the soft flexible stuff. And once we have some conductive filament, we're actually talking about printing the part with the conductives built in, which might be fun. What do you think?
The only problem is how much conductive filament costs.
Yeah.
Well, you're not using very much of it, right?
Yeah, but you still have to buy a certain amount to get it, though, unless somebody wants to cut little strips off or something.
Well, we get a sample, the 500 grand, or 500 grand or something like that, or 200 grand. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of, Josh was certainly interested in the idea of, being able to lay in conductive inside of a part.
Oh, I'm not saying I don't like the idea. Definitely sounds like the most logical use of conductive filament that I've heard. I never really saw much of a point to it until you suggested it for this. Aha! There we go.
Your tool is complete.
Yep. Do you see it?
No, because I'm heads down and I'm soldering a slip right now.
No worries.
I actually went out and brought my entire solder station inside so I could, actually get this done. Because what I've been running into here is not accomplishing this particular task.
The picture needs cropping.
What's that?
I posted a picture and I'm like, that picture needs cropping. I just snapped a photo directly into Discord instead of taking it and manipulating it in any way.
So yeah, liquid electric tape is it's a polymer that you just dab on. Works pretty well. Did you heat shrink all of your connections?
Huh? You
On
mean
all your switches?
I heat shrink nothing on the Hermera?
No, I meant on the carriage switches.
Oh, like the end stops? Yeah. Well, I didn't heat shrink it all the way up to the switch. I only did one, or I tried doing it, but it didn't really work out the way I wanted. So.
He doesn't have a lot of clearance in there.
Do you have a link to this liquid electrical tape?
Yeah, give me a sec.
No, no.
It's called liquid tape. I don't remember where I got it. Gardner Bender. I don't have a link. But you can put a tiny dab on something and it works really well.
Hmm. I have some designing to do before I actually try a multicolor print. Like I currently don't have any way to wipe. I
I don't know if I did that right. Does that link work?
We'll tell you in 1 second. Yep.
You can also get it in black.
$5. I can't do that.
What's that?
Nothing. I was just being stupid.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was just making a. I don't know.
Alright. I'm ordering the glide plates.
Okay. So, no, back. Dude, seriously, I'm soldering this. I know, you're wanting to.
Cool. My payment is handled. So it's the order is in.
Good. So the 10 doesn't say?
So they're saying on one part of their site, they're saying, basically a week or so. In another part of their site, they're saying due to COVID-19, it could be 2 to 6 weeks, depending on factory, yada, yada, yada. But either way, it'll be worth seeing. guys. I gotta get going.
All right, have a good night.
Fiance has an early morning tomorrow, so.
All right. Well, good hearing from you.
Yep. Have a good night.
Alrighty, guys.
Lard?
Yeah, it's a blarg. Dropped a bolt. Twice. Oh, what am I doing?
Well, I've ruined this switch.
That's not good.
I think I overheated it.
Really?
Yeah, I dropped it while I was trying to solder it, and I ended up catching the wrong part of it with the.
Surprised you could apply enough heat for enough time to actually cause any real damage to the switch.
Yeah, I didn't have it. I wasn't heating it that long, but luckily I have extra switches.
Just wanted to put it on the machine before I go to bed.
Let me rephrase that. I thought I had switches. Where did it go? Oh, there they are. Yeah, I have 2 extra switches. So, and of course the one I broke while I was messing around was the Z. I'm seriously considering a BL Tut.
I ordered an extra BL Touch just in case the consensus switches to BL Touches.
Yeah.
I figured at some point I'll use it for some other reason, I'm sure. If I don't use it for this. Oh, with this current configuration, I'm definitely not going to be getting more than 3 tools on the machine.
Oh, really?
Not with the 5015 fans.
Yeah, maybe I didn't break the switch. The plunger was stuck. So I just loosened the plunger up again, and it seems to be working. I think I crimped it while I was putting it back into the, putting it into the carriage. Yeah, it's all clicky and happy now. So I will, the continuity checks out. I think I've got like 4 carriages put together. Because, you know, changes, right?
There we go. I achieved my minimum goal for the night.
That's good.
Got some work to do still, but
I guess one of the other things is like, what do I have to do next?
next thing I have to do is make a cable. I'll need to print a spool holder. I mean a spool holder, so I can actually do a 2-color print.
Okay.
And I need to do something about my wiping situation.
Yeah.
Because right now the stock wiper does not get anywhere near out far enough. You know what? Since I'm not going to be able to get two tools on here, I could probably pull it a little bit further away from the Z-axis screw,
Yeah.
and then I won't have such a hard time getting the wiper up to the print head.
Okay.
I should be able to just print a spacer and be done with it.
You said the word.
Yep. But you gotta say it.
Spacers!
There we go. See, when you say it, I say it, and vice versa. Okay. Yeah, the Hermera is definitely a large tool, especially with the 5015 fan on it. Yeah,
I used to figure, have you thought of a ripcord box or something like that and hang it on the side?
huh?
Or put a ripcord on it next to it with a French cleat or hang it above it?
A ripcord.
It's a box. It's a storage box, but it holds a bunch of filament. You can maintain temperatures in it, things like that.
Oh,